Well, we had the Landscape of Practices event at the weekend. I wonder if you could give me your reflections on how it went.
Well, it was certainly a very interesting experience, having all these people coming from different practices in the same room, different professions, and have them interact with each other. We started with an exercise where people saw each other tell their trajectory, tell their kind of life story in terms of the practices they had visited. Interestingly, one of the things that they all noticed is that they had a very complex identity with respect to many, many practices. That was actually an interesting insight.
It was, and the other thing I thought was very interesting was the way that the practitioner, the practice practitioners also related with other people in their landscapes. So the childminders relating to the inspector and so forth, and telling their own stories about an inspection. So that was really interesting for me.
Yeah,
I found it really interesting how we were able to open a space for people to talk at these borders and to make it transparent that it's a place where there's tension and an opportunity for talking.
and I think in terms of the learning that was happening, I think we had two aspects of the learning. One was that we asked people to come together and talk across those boundaries. So part of the learning was the experience for them, just personally, of seeing others with their different experiences. And then I think the other part of the learning was that we actually produced some documents. Small little groups worked to produce some documents that were kept
when you
on
say
the website.
documents, people created videos, photographs. It was a multimodal document on a wiki page that people were collecting. Yeah, so we had the story being told in the wiki, and also the story of the meta-narrative of what was happening on a blog. So we were trying to integrate social media into the process, which was quite interesting because that introduced another boundary between who is in and who is out of using these new tools. So yeah.
And there were even some people in there who were twittering to the outside. So there was also, the technology also gave us an immediate connection with the outside.
And people from the outside twittering into the workshop.
That's right, yeah.
So it was happening on different levels. Yeah.
So I think that was also a learning for us about how to convene these kind of meeting of practices. Perhaps one thing that we've learned is how much framing it takes for people to quickly come to understand what is expected of them and how they can engage.
Yes, because the uncertainty in it did create a lot of anxiety and tension, which was okay by the end, but in the beginning was quite disconcerting.
That's right, yeah.
And then to the next steps, we're thinking about a book, maybe working with the participants a little bit more, trying to develop their stories, trying to get them to tell their stories either as chapter writers or as contributors of the...
Right. And then take that to the next step, to see now that we are starting to understand how a landscape of practice is really constitutive of a profession. What are the implications for for an institution like the Open University in terms of education and professional formation?
Yeah, should be great.
Yeah.